Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is me, the Damn Nazi, joined by Kaizo here to cast this wonderful set of Benadryl Babylonians and, of course, everyone's favorite, the Weiner Brigade. And, well, Kaizo, I have to take note of some good names here because we do enjoy a good
Please do.
name.
Yes,
Um,
we do.
we have Ket Monster versus Big Joe. Talk to me about this matchup.
And that is, I think, the real matchup here that everybody's been talking about is who's going to take home the title of best name at the end of the broadcast. I do think that Big Joe has enough ease that he's definitely still in the running, but Ket Monster is just such a strong forerunner that I'm not sure that he can really compete with that.
Speaking of forerunners, Tucker has a 4 in his name, so, well, Big Joe and Ket Monster lacking numbers, but we are not lacking numbers in the bands. We have Mercury, Lancelot, I guess, New God, OP, we don't want to let that one through with Chernobog, so Global Presence being taken out by the Babylonians, and then Kali, interestingly enough, and Raven Susanoo before Freya, coming in as the first lock, and, well, Conduit changed, and so did Freya.
Oh, well, by golly, they are immediately going for this dual lane of X-Ball Kepri here, and I mean, the
A
Kali
classic.
ban isn't too surprising, especially if you take a look at the other bans that they have. They're clearly afraid of Ket Monster in the jungle, and they want to keep him off of those comfort picks, but I do think it's a little bit unusual for them to grab an X-Ball this early in the draft. I think that Kepri, a very strong, very staple support pick at this point, very tried and true in the current meta, but I just don't know that X-Ball really holds that same value for me to be a top 2 pick in the draft.
And well, speaking of holding value, I guess Shiva is also another one that I don't typically see here. I guess we're used to the lesser off-brand of Smite over here in NA, that we just don't know the superior EU meta that is superior, by the way, of picking up Shiva. And yeah, wow, what do you think of this pick? He's got a little cobra in his card art.
He doesn't.
I didn't know that.
Cobra. I don't think that integrates into his kit in any way or fashion, but he's got it. And he's definitely got some early pressure. He has a lot of good bully tools in lane if he's a solo laner, but with this Horus, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of this in solo lane, so it wouldn't surprise me if it went there and then the Shiva was maybe jungle, but honestly, I like the Shiva or the Horus better in support. I think that just having a warrior to run it down with and really like expedite this Freya's lead can make this Freya even stronger, and you're really just looking to get her to that the critical mass where she just kills everybody by herself, and I think either one of those picks could really do pretty well for her in that.
Yeah, pick some warriors to bruise around. Could even be a flex pick for the jungle too. I think when Shiva was first released, we saw him a decent amount in the jungle, and well, more assassins being banged, Kalina and Bakasura. So Weiner Brigade gonna have to dig deep into the god pool for Lagosaurus Rex, but Osiris being locked in, he's a staple right now, as well with the U1, lots to safety with that self-banish, and obviously the CC immune ult gonna help him get away from the warriors, and Poseidon, Ratatoska. Poseidon's actually kind of getting picked up a little bit more recently.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of this Bumba's Hammer build on him. I'm not sure if we're going to continue to see that after the Bumba's Hammer changes, no longer giving you the same amount of cooldown reduction, taking a little bit of the true damage off, and notably, no longer proccing ability effect on your ult. So that does not decrease the cooldown of Kraken anymore, which is something that Poseidon really enjoyed. But I think that just giving him that early clear in the jungle makes it a lot easier for you to rotate over to those side lanes and really get your value out. As Weiner Brigade going to round out the draft with an Odin here, and as I suspected, this Osiris, it appears, is going to be going into the jungle. A little bit more ambiguous for the Babylonians, though.
Yeah, I just want to really quickly point out the fact that you definitely knew Bumba's Hammer didn't affect the ultimate, and that isn't information you learned last night. This is something you knew immediately from the mid-season patch update. So it's good that you brought that to attention. But
yeah, I definitely studied, and I didn't learn that last night while playing that god with that item. So I'm definitely well rehearsed for this one.
Absolutely. But to your mention, a lot of just pressure here. Poseidon Ratatoska mid jungle. That's gonna take away some of the heat away from Freya, like you mentioned earlier, so that she can scale up. The two warriors also gonna be doing a lot of that, just taking a lot of pressure away from this Freya. And well, she doesn't really have to worry about an X-Bar in lane, so I guess she's just gonna get to free farm up as much as she likes, and then just self-banish herself away from an Odin cage in teamfight.
Yeah, and that Odin is actually what I'm looking at right now. Not necessarily for its own inherent value, but where the Babylonians put their gods as a result of it. I think that Shiva doesn't have the best time in lane versus an Odin, so I would prefer to actually see the Horus in that slot. But with these three gods that they've selected for the Babylonians, Shiva, Horus, Ratatoskr, all three of them can play solo, and at least two of them can play support. So if those are within the god pools, they can actually flex those around a little bit. We'll see where they end up, and it is going to be the Horus in the solo lane for a little bit of a better solo lane matchup. So I like the flexibility. Not sure if that was the idea going in, but I think that they've definitely ended up with the best opportunity that they had available to them.
Yeah, and definitely no ego being thrown around too. Rangda's mask on the Horus with
Hey,
going into Golden Blade. This is fantastic, which I learned the other day by
yeah.
watching Deathwalker. That item has true damage to minions. So it actually
Yeah.
helps his clear. Once he has Golden Blade, that one is probably going to insta-burst the wave, not to mention the interrupt potential for the Bird Bomb. So really countering out Big Joe, which is Weiner Brigade's ace in the hole, so to speak. They really know they've got to lean into Big Joe, as we mentioned earlier, just being the carry. And yeah, well, what a start. I don't think I was expecting a Ragna's mask.
No, and something else that I didn't learn last night and knew ahead of time, hang on a second here, Osiris hits 2, Ket Monster will be slowed, but no route to follow up. Is official Cheeto going to whiff that one on him for the follow-up? I did learn a long time, not last night, that Rangda's Mask at full level 20 just gives you free damage for having damage. Like, it used to be a trade-off, but now it is literally no downside, as Big Joe actually putting a little bit more damage on Gordon here. Osiris blinks and Spirit Flail missed, but that Sickle Strike is on the mark, and Big Joe will take that one, and that is going to be your first blood of this game, despite the fact that Lagosaurus Rex is the one that actually towered over that one.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier the pressure of the mid and the jungle there between Poseidon and Ratatoska, but Mannequin Scepter will hang on. Shiva's getting aggressed on, and a dash on from both members of the dual lane Weiner Brigade gonna take him pretty low. But the Osiris with Mannequin Scepter brings a lot of pressure itself, obviously out clearing on that first wave. He invades the back camps, and the Ratatoska being low, he can't follow the rotation or go into that jungle, which opens up a solo kill potential onto this very squishy Horus gun that build. So good start from the Weiner Brigade. Hopefully they can follow it up, but it's actually Ket Monster who's looking for something in from both sides of the jungle. Good knock up onto 2, and it's Freya cutting off the angle with the slow orders, but Ratatoska not getting the memo. He's just clearing the wave whilst they get the beetle down low.
Yeah, he knows what's important. And actually, speaking of important, it's going to be Osiris. Lagosaurus Rex knows what is important on the map right now, and that's going to be that speed buff invade. That is a jungler's best friend. You do not want to lose that one. And going to see a pause here, and I wonder if that's a result of Ket Monster just rethinking that dual lane game, going to play that one back in his head and see what might be able to be different next time. As you pointed out, he went straight for that wave like it owed him money, even though they actually had the Kepri caught out pretty well. That blink in was just a little bit too far for them, but unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get that kill as a result of it. And I mean, what it costs you your speed buff, is any price really worth it?
I don't think so. And if I do remember, I dropped your speed buff one time around the 35-minute mark, and you DC'd from the game as a prank until you came back, and I called you out on coming back, and you left for the rest of the evening. I do recall that happening. So yes, losing your speed buff as a jungler is equivalent to losing the game. There is no greater penalty in life, and I think it is worthy of pinging every single member of the team. But as you mentioned, he knew that was going to happen, and that's why he taxed the wave. A really good play from Ket Monster, taking the wave away from his dual lane, and just getting himself ahead on Ratatoska. But Yeah, Legosaurus Rex doing what he needs to, just living in the solo side jungle, and
What,
well, it's
did
going to be
Horus
another
not
gank onto
see him?
Gordon, who has zero idea he is here. Bird Bomb is good, Knockup's good too, but well, no, he's going to take a spell because well, he's a Horus with a Ragnar's mask.
I swear, Gordon turned around, looked Lagosaurus Rex in the eyes, and just whispered to him that he's gonna go clear this wave anyway, and he doesn't care that
Yeah,
he's there. And then just did it. I mean, he's just dead. And more fighting gonna take place in the solo side as Ratatosker, no mana, fighting Lagosaurus Rex, also no mana at this blue buff invade. Lagosaurus Rex getting very low now that Horus is here, but the deed's been done. Ket Monster has been slain again after all of his farm has been taken. So
yeah,
miraculously still level 4, but Ket Monster must be particularly far behind in the gold charts.
yeah. It's a good kill for Gordon to pick up, finally getting something on the board for himself and for the Benadryl Babylonians. He really needed that to just be able to get back into the lane a little bit. And well, hang
What
on,
is LB
Kepri
doing?
getting a
What's
little
he
bit
doing?
confident. And yeah, well, he's just gonna back away. Good knock up, good pulse damage from the Freya is gonna keep him at bay. But Golden Blade finish now from Osiris, and I don't think that kill's really gonna make him well, it should make Albie a
Wow,
little bit. Yeah, that damage was big.
that
But
was
I don't think
lucky.
that's gonna stop him from doing what he's been doing this whole time, invading the right side jungle, looking for another pick onto the Horus, who I think has placed a vision shard down on that harpy. So Kraken goes down in the mid lane, as does Official Cheeto, picking that one up, and I think we're gonna see more skill come out from this Poseidon with that 4 button.
Hopefully we see more health bars here, as notably Poseidons and Ratatoskers have just disappeared from the map, but don't worry, Taco, we know you're still there. We know you're still getting ganked by Osiris, Lagosaurus Rex with the tether, but Poseidon will be retreating into the tower and should be just fine. I do love the fact that Albie has been playing just mindlessly aggressive on this Kepri, because that is absolutely the right way to play this god when you're against something like a Freya that can be abused by this long range CC as Lycosaurus Rex.
Oh,
Man,
hang
he
on.
loves this jungle, but he hates this Ratatosker.
Lord of the Afterlife sends Cat Monster to the Afterlife. This isn't your jungle anymore, Cat Monster. I
No,
mean, we've bigged you up, and, well, Weiner Brigade knew the potential, and
look at
they've
him!
gone to shut you down. Freya going in does secure the purple buff, and she wants a little bit more. She's going whacking away the tennis racket. We should play doubles, and it's doubles that she's looking to get onto the dual lane of Weiner Brigade, and, wow, she's really taking the 1v1 and is ulting the Kepri as well. Very low. X-Ball has to clean this one up, and should...
There
And
we
he
go.
does. It
The
is
mystery
Alyssa going
man.
down. Yeah, that one, the mystery man, he who has no name, DCs, but still claims the kill onto the Freya. And that's just how it should go. Xbox has excellent solo potential on Freya early.
Yes, of course. In right lane, Dragon Ball Z fight, Ratatosker blinks. Osiris blinks away. Ratatosker has ulted out of this or into this fight, but now it's
No mana.
Lagosaurus Rex defending with no mana. He loves this side of the jungle. He is not going to give it up for anything. There's a dash in from Ket Monster. Kepri is here for the assistance. Ult onto Lagosaurus Rex should get a reset here pretty soon, but so patient is Ket Monster on the Ratatosker and will still get the kill onto Osiris, but now he is in a bad part of town and he has got the windows down and the doors unlocked. He will be getting... I'm not sure where I'm going with this analogy. I'm probably not supposed to be finishing.
Here, let me help you.
Please
Cat
do.
Monster got the kill through the Capriol, right? He's feeling good. He's feeling confident. He's like, oh, you thought you were all good on this Osiris jungle, Golden Blade, Mannequin Scepter. You're thinking you're good. And then he had 10% health, no ultimate, and just goes, that speed buff's up. And I know it. And he remembers the speed buff he lost from earlier. And so
Yeah,
he understood the
never forget.
assignment, and he said, I've just got to get in there. I got to mix things up and go for that speed buff. Sadly for him, there were 2 members of the Weiner Brigade to cut that one off. And well, it's Gordon who's being cut off from safety as an endless brawl in solo lane is going on. But no mana actually on Big Joe. Good knockup, takes the beads. But that's going to be that. Ultimate and beads out of Big Joe, just trying to make Gordon 96 go down.
And everybody very aware of this right side jungle. This is the
Yes.
hot contest of the day as Horus
This
ults
is
in
the
for this
only
one.
side of the jungle.
Lagosaurus Rex in the eternal 1v1 with Ket Monster will have to retreat from this one. He's got help coming in from Horus and Shiva. Meanwhile, Alyssa will, it looks like, secure that buff. But Ket Monster not done with Lagosaurus. Ults down on top. There's the dash. There's the nut blast. And get blasted. Lagosaurus Rex will take another trip to Fountain.
Yeah, no, this right side of the jungle is very personal, and it looks as though both teams are willing to die on this hill. Except for Albie, he did make that one rotation with the ult, but he really wants to make sure Alyssa on this Freya is very sad in trying to get her purple buff. That is constantly being contested by this Kepri, and he did secure it. That's an enhanced purple buff on Albie 72. Those pinches, that's a hit chain,
Swinging.
Kaizo. That's a hit chain. 1.5, 1.5. That big double pinch,
Boom.
that's going to be swinging. And that's going to be more
go.
frequent.
And with all of this power that he's scaling that 1.5 off of, you gotta be afraid of that if you're the Benadryl Babylonians. You don't want to see Albie running at you with this enhanced purple buff. So probably going to play more passive, but I say that Alyssa is just on the tower line fighting back Brex into the tower. Here's Albie on the Kepri with the rotation. X-Bolo comes out, will blind her, but she just goes up into that Valkyrie's Discretion, returns some damage. Albie swings the pinches, Ratatoskr blinks, and that's a good Kepri ult. That's going to save him for now, but how long will he live? Already 1 HP under tower. Ratatoskr dives, gets the kill. Albie with the pluck back in, though. Ratatoskr 1 HP gets the Shiva ult for the disengage, and Taka will head back into the jungle as this 1v4 dissipates.
Yeah, and interesting that they, well, not interesting that the Kepri rotated. We knew he was going to rotate, but we had also the mid and support matching that rotation and picking up the kill under tab. But hang on, it's Gordon in trouble. There is no way through that cage, buddy. You got to start swinging those wings. Well, he's just going to run into one wall and then into the other. But speed buff picked up by Ket Monster. But to go back to that fight in left, just really good from the Freya getting the pressure and Matt getting the counter rotation out from her team to punish what was inevitable to come to her. And it's Ket Monster who's in trouble, but dashing away under the tower, loses a blue buff, but nothing else. But just leaning into this Freya, she has that hasten ring now. You saw the swirly swirls that were going around her waist. That's the passive. And a big nut blast coming from down range and nothing else. Over in solo lane. He really wants more, though.
Yeah, a lot of excitement over nothing, really, and that's been.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to follow up on that. I thought he wasn't done.
Well, they're never done, Felix, and that's just something that you're going to have to become acquainted with, especially when it's over this right side jungle. You said it best yourself. It is personal on this side of the jungle, and it's personal between
in the mid lane
and the mid laner of official Cheeto. Beads will be forced out, but we'll go up into that self-banish for a little bit of safety, and now everybody rotating toward this left side of the map.
Yeah, worth noting, Cheeto got the 1v2 kill, but it's actually going to be the 1v2 over here in dual lane. That's the ultimate coming out from Ratatoskr getting all the way down. And yeah, I think we've seen this play before. Albie getting plucked back in, but he has taken no damage. And Lagosaurus Rex finally makes his presence known over here in the dual lane. Shuts down Alyssa. So does Big Joe. He's here. And well, caged in, and he accepts his fate, does the Hunter. And they might look to turn their attention to Gold Fury, but they're going to have to be careful because Taka has Kraken, and I don't know they burst this quite quick enough.
Yeah, they don't have the best sustained DPS for this. Odin's 3
looks like Taka knows.
Coming in.
Yeah, he's coming in. Gold Fury getting low, but he is going to get contested. Good one. The Kraken is way off the mark, and I think that's going to spell disaster over here for the Babylonians. Gold Fury will go down. No members down for the Weiner Brigade, and they're playing like #1 seed right now.
Yeah, if there was an enemy in the center of that Kraken, that probably would have hurt them.
Yeah, but he did a little. He said, I can crack him one, or I can just do a little bit to everyone. He said, I'll hit Gold Fury with the edge. I'll hit Kepri with the edge. Yeah, just sprinkle it around. Share the love a little.
And well known for his AoE damage as opposed to single target damage is this Poseidon, and Taka no stranger to that concept. Big Joe drops the cage on right, trying to defend the blue buff, but will still go down to this personal invade as Big Joe gets the beats force out. There's a stun. There's a Khepri ult that will save his life. 1 HP on the
Look at
Odin
this.
as he walks
Yuang
away.
and Osiris on the rotation also. Horace thought about it, but he's going to ult away, and I don't think that's going to keep himself. Huge nut blast from really far away, catches two of them, but the blink is good, and that's got to be Gordon's life. If he can just hit something, you know, the auto attacks finally he hits. And that's going to be good. Yuang off the mark, but Lord of the Athlete, he's not done. He wants more, and I think it's going to cost them both their life, but that does... I think he'll be saying worth because, you know, he gets the kill under the tower, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Alyssa
Speaking of kills under
challenging
tower,
X-Ball between towers, and Brex will put her down for her transgressions, killed on the tier 2 tower line. Now it's going to be Albie contesting 1v2 here, while a little bit of a rotation comes through from official Cheeto, just picking up that jungle. As we know, that is the most important farm on the map this game, as we're going to take a quick break here.
yeah, I think we're going to try and take a break so that we can stop these ghost riders coming in and killing people without any names.
Rat's a
And
stealth unit without a health
yes,
bar.
yes, he is. He has been just under every single tower. I'm not sure there's a T2 tower he hasn't witnessed or experienced firsthand just yet. Like you mentioned, Freya feeling fully confident between the two towers, getting shut down by Expo. And well, it's just been actually pretty well played here from Weiner Brigade. I was led to believe that this was not going to be a particularly succinct game from their standing in the league, but they've been playing pretty good. They've been matching the aggression. We've had Lagosaurus Rex on the Osiris really initiating and instigating. Khepri has been making rotations constantly over to the duo lane, and they've been finding picks where they can and making things happen. But it doesn't seem as though the Benadryl Babylonians are particularly perturbed. They keep pushing in, and I get the feeling it's going to reach critical mass, and we might just see a deicide somewhere.
Yeah, we're kind of building toward a head, is what it feels like, where all of these fights are very sprawling, very unorganized, and very, as we said earlier, personal, where it's just, this guy is in my jungle, so I'm going to fight him. The moment these teams turn their aggression and their attention toward a coordinated, organized team fight around an objective, past, Poseidon trying to 1v4 contest and hitting a bunch of different people with one Kraken. I think that this game is going to get turned on its head very quickly because these teams are absolutely gnashing at the teeth for the opportunity to kill one another, and just putting them all in one bowl together and seeing who comes out on top is going to be very amusing to watch, I would assume.
Yeah, I think he didn't quite get the memo, right? You said everything's quite personal right now. Everyone got like given a random Kali target at the start of the game, and that's the person they've got to hate for the rest of the game. But Poseidon just got all of them. He's like, guys, it just selected all of them. I just got to hit all of them with a little bit of something. So a little bit of a questionable Kraken, but we'll move on from that. It was a misclick. It happens, and well, that was probably the only real attempt of kind of objective gameplay, right? They got the fight in left that worked out well. It did require a rotation from their solo lane. A Big Joe came in with that Odin cage to pick up the tail end, and I think that probably helped with some of the pressure for that Gold Fury, right? They get the presence of the two frontliners, pseudo, I guess, because the Osiris was there, obviously, and the Khepri also trying to zone for that Poseidon. So there's a lot of frontline for him to get through, and well, speaking of that Khepri, he's taken next to no damage in these fights, and that's got to be a big concern with Expo throwing things into complete disarray for the Babylonians. That's going to make their team fight much harder. The cages, they don't have any great ways out of the cage. I think it's just Horus 3, Rattle, and also the Freya ult. They don't really want to be using these things to try... Horus 3. Did I not say that? Oh, Horus ult too. Yeah, but I mean, it's forcing something from them, right? They've got to use something to get out of this, and it might be a little bit harder to recognize that's going on when you've got an Expo ult and the Khepri just living forever to be able to bring one of their backliners back, or even allow the Osiris to keep diving. they do have the tools to try and punch their way through and team fight the Benadryl Babylonians. They've just got to pick it around another objective like a Gold Fury or a T1 Tower mid, maybe a Pyromancer, and leverage this team fight comp that they have.
And it is worth noting that Gold Fury drop that came out was on the back end of a fight that the Babylonians were taking. They were fighting on the tier 1 tower line, trying to get everything done that they could. And Ket Monster, I have seen him pulled by a Khepri into a tier 1 duo tower 3 times, I believe, this game. And every single time it has spelled his doom. And that time Big Joe was just on the rotation, just very aware of where he needs to be. And right now that seems to be this greater Scorpion, as now a little bit more coordination coming through from the Weiner Brigade. It might be Taka getting caught, but he wisely decides to shade back toward this middle lane. And now Weiner Brigade feeling confident enough to pull this Pyro.
Yeah, they're pulling Pyro, but Benadryl don't want them to take it. The cage comes out. I'm surprised that wasn't used to blink out onto the Poseidon, but Bird Bomb's ahead, and, well, he doesn't like the decision. He made good stun to save his own life. Pyromancer is reset, and, well, the crowd control is off the mark, so I think these two are going to look to just get out of there as Cheeto is low on mana, and, well, they've probably got some gold to be spending also. But it's actually Cheeto who's in trouble. Huge stun. Kraken is used on the Banish, but Ket Monster is no stranger to diving a tower. He wants to get in, and then recognizes, oh yeah, the Khepri. He's plucked me into a couple of T1 towers so far this game. I probably shouldn't. Yeah, it's, well, ultimates to left, right, and center. Horus going in, good stun onto Big Joe. He goes up and he goes down, but the chase is still on. Shiva is on the cutoff, and that forces Expo out. That's a pretty big one if they want to look to reset and pull this Pyromancer, or maybe it was just used to get away from this Freya, who is, again, whacking away at that tower trying to get in. Oh, hang on, blinking gauge.
Yeah, and it's going to be Ket Monster very low here, tethered by the Osiris. Lord of the Afterlife on top will get that root. Shiva coming up with those heals. Ket Monster dashes away. 1 HP. It's going to be Big Joe jumping forward, trying to continue this fight, but a good disengage from the Benadryl Babylonians. It will cost the beads of Ket Monster, but everybody lives for now, and now Lagosaurus Rex, with nothing better to do, will rotate on this Freya, who has been a menace in this duo lane. Freya, not exactly known for her split push prowess, but Alyssa damn sure wants that tower down, it would seem.
Yeah, very, very aware that has a very good 1v1 character and is against an Expo who wants to team fight and is just looking to leverage that as much as possible by just whacking away at the tower. You said it's not good for split pushing, but I beg to differ. That is a T1 tower going down in the duo lane by virtue of melee auto attacks, and she's quite happy about it.
She's very happy about that. Is she clapping right now? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
I think that she's very
enthused, and I think she's going to be less enthused when she finds out that Albie is here once again on the rotation. Root is off the mark, but Valkyrie's discretion shouldn't buy her enough time to live, as Albie, with the pinchers, will secure that one.
Yeah, that's those big pinches I was talking about, and that is a Cyrus ult forced out because he was trying to dive Taka down between the T1, T2, Ket Monster cleaning that one up, and Gold Fury spawning, the pings are coming out, they know it's up, so Big Joe's made the rotation, Oracle's going down just to get that vision secure, but, well, they do secure it, and Gordon's in trouble. He's been plucked in, and he's surely going to be locked down. He does have a heal target, and he gets on out. Big Joe trying to get that cage onto him, but it's actually going to be Hunter who gets him on out. So the support doing his job there and getting his well, solo laner with damage out of there.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was just looking at this build. So I mentioned previously this Rangda's upgrade will give you free damage. But the thing is, you only get that if you build enough power to earn that through the Rangda's Mask passive. And I'm not seeing a ton of damage out of Gordon so far. I mean, the Golden Blade Berserkers combo is a good bruiser option, but it's not really the power stacked up that you need to make sure that you get all of these stacks of the Rangda's Mask and you get your full damage off. But I will have to see what these last two items are. Keep an eye on it and see if he gets value out of that as the Weiner Brigade look for this Gold Fury.
Yeah, and Benadryl Babylonians have zero idea this is going on. They've all gone to right jungle, splitting back camps, clearing mid waves, and, well, Oni Fury goes down for free, and well, Alyssa takes that as her cue as I should probably get out of there. I've
Yeah.
been camped plenty this game, but they just give
get it,
that one up
Albie.
for free. And well, I'll be maybe making a mistake here. He's trying to get
Cyrus?
the relics out of the tower there, and well, he's gonna take a whole bunch of damage. Alyssa even ulting onto the Capri, really not doing all that much. I feel like he should have been punished a whole lot more for trying to go for that play for the trebuchet, but he gets out of there without having to use his ult. It just cost him export, and I really feel like he should have been punished.
Yeah, Osiris was there. Lagosaurus Rex enough of a force in these fights that they didn't want to try to take it. Not the best vision around that objective, so we're really sure if anybody else might be coming, as Pet Monster continues
Huge
to be
damage.
a menace to anybody that is in front of him. Just full cast the Kepri. Now going into the ult, please tell me that this is going to be to peel for Lagosaurus Rex's Takane kill, but it's actually going to be a little too late here. Still in the trees, looking for this Kepri. Will stun out the Osiris and dash away though.
This is just some good, wholesome assault here in the middle lane.
Yes.
You don't back and buy items unless you die, and well, that's what Taka did. He went for those mid camps, and Lagosaurus Rex, well, he's lived here in the right jungle just about the whole game, and he cleans that one up nice and easy into his waiting arms. But did you see the damage coming out of the Yu Wong? He hit him with the 2-1 combo, and that was under half health instantly on the Poseidon, and well, roots are kind of the bane of these immobile mid laners, and if Poseidon gets hit by either the solar flare from Kepri or this root from Yuang, he's gonna have a lot of trouble trying to live or just not take too much damage without using his relics, and he really got punished for that one, and it's a good cleanup kill from Osiris, and forced out the ult from Ratatoska, who, speaking of, is dashing in. He will stun, a second stun coming through, and that's just a good and wholesome back in the middle of lane with two people in front of you.
Yeah, and no Aegis used, notably.
Nope.
Also, no ult or self-banish. Just wanted
Nope.
to go heads up and retain
Those are
some
his.
damage, and that's going to cost him. I mean, you're not going to get away with that, even at this level. And Big Joe trying to 1v2. Kepri is here on the rotation. Albie always where he needs to be. So Cat Monster ults out, but that leaves Gordon hanging. Now Gordon jumps out of the cage, which expended basically for free.
Yeah, there's 5 members here from the Babylonians. They know the only objective is the big fire that's up. They've sent Freya on the rotation over, and they might actually just try and look for something here. So they got both the Expo and the Odin cage out for just a Ratatosk up. But yeah, they really wanted that fight. And speaking of, Blink in onto Big Joe. I guess he just wanted some damage. He said, I see you clearing that wave, but solo lane damage. I'm trying to get to top damage over here, and I gotta headbutt you. And, well, maybe it's because Cat Monster's also on the rotation. Second blink over here onto Big Joe. The dash is good. That will force the beads out from the Odin, and it's a horror assault. Also, the stun is off the mark, as is the knockup. He's gotta fall down if you're gonna commit this much, but he does not. It is Cat Monster who went on a huge Kepri res to save his life as the damage was coming in on the back end, and now it's Lagosaurus Rex in trouble because there is 5 members still here from the Benadryl Babylonians. They have sent everybody to this solo lane. Right jungle is just the most hostile ground possible.
Yes, if you go into right jungle, you are looking for a fight, and I think official Cheeto's still seeking one out. Gordon will take a huge sum of damage from that Yuwang combo, and now these teams starting to position around this Pyromancer seem to have remembered that there are objectives on this map, and they don't just need to fight in the lanes. Albie gets a good pluck onto Hunter, but will be no follow-up here as Weiner Brigade start up this Pyro.
Yeah, they started up and they dropped the Expo. That's going to make it just about impossible for Poseidon to get in there and crack in that one for secure. Well, we might not even see it for secure. We might just see it for a little bit of damage on all. There's no potential for that if the Darkest of Nights is up. He can't even get into that vicinity. So another objective picked up here from Weiner Brigade. That is 2 Gold Furies and 2 Pyromancers, I believe, that they've secured. And Gold Furies coming back up. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn their attention to that. They haven't done the Oracles just yet, but they've shown that they really want to get their first game under their belt.
Taking a look at these player damage charts, I'd just like to point out that my boy Albie72 is above a Poseidon on the damage chart.
As he should be.
As of course he should be. With 6,000 damage, I mean, how's a Poseidon going to do more than 6,000 damage? I don't think he has the tools necessary.
I don't think so either. And I think most of that damage probably does come from when he had the enhanced purple buff. You know, he probably stacked
course,
up that
of
damage
course.
really quickly and just, started pumping out numbers. But speaking of numbers, we have a few amassed here in the right mid camps. Is again the fire giant is the one they all want, but they just are all scared to pull it. But who is being pulled? It is the Shiva, who's
Ooh,
caged,
good
a
ult.
huge blink cage, and that's the Ankh coming out from Kepri onto Hunter. He's in big trouble, but it's the Ratatoska cat monster going up into the sky. Up, down is Lord of the Afterlife, and he's surely going to get put down, but no, the dashes, both of them are off the mark, and he's going to get out scot-free unless Horus can do something about it.
Oh, Gordon's gonna blink in and take half of his health immediately. Hunter very low. Lagosaurus Rex will get that Kepriel. Now the ADCs are here. Ket Monster dashes away. X-Ball dashes after Brex, hunting down this kill. Ket Monster will fall to Big Joe. Albie goes down to Gordon. And now it is a 4v4. Both teams have rotated the ADCs over. Alyssa taking the brunt of the damage of this engagement. That's a Valkyrie's discretion, but it's actually Gordon that goes down.
Yeah, and Odin's keeping the chase going. He's cutting off the retreat of the duo lane. Good stun onto Alyssa. She could be in trouble, but the health bars are low. Respecting the Freya damage they do, but they take Hunter instead. Bird Bomb in. Cages back up. Oh, and that's just sad. You hate to see it. The Aegis is down, and so is Alyssa. They pick up numerous numbers. Aegis still is burnt there from Brex there on the Expo. Will they pull the Fire Giant? I'm not sure they can with the health bars being quite this low, but a good fight from Weiner Brigade. Nobody died for the longest of times, by the way. There was a full minute fight going on without anyone perishing before the Ratatoska going in real deep to zone and had 3 numbers on him, but it was also Albie doing the same on the Kepri. But good fight, good re-engages from Weiner Brigade. They just traded their health bars a little bit better than the Babylonians and Teleport, as you mentioned, coming in. Good headbutt. Here's the Kraken, but the Aegis is even better. He's going to get out of there, and a good ultimate for self-peel. Well, you'd hate to see your Aegis go, but you'd rather that than your mid laner go.
You hate to see the Aegis go, but I just love watching people get slid across the map by a Yuwon ult. That just always looks so goofy to me, to just see them sliding over the space that they're supposed to be walking on, as though they're, I don't know, like a Cleo or something. But it's going to be Ket Monster here with, he saw this play from Official Cheeto earlier, where you just back in front of 3 people in the mid lane and thought they'd try it out himself. And miraculously, it doesn't work out as you might have anticipated, as now Weiner Brigade have the numbers around this Fire Giant.
Yeah, and they've caught Shiva out in the jungle. It looks like Odin Cage has been dropped on him too. He will dance in the Discoteca cage, and he will also fall down. But it's Horus. He's also in the sky. He wants to get in there and stop them from doing it. Doesn't land in the pit because he has no numbers with him. And I'm not sure the Babylonians have the necessary tools to get in here and take it. It is going down slow at half health. And look at Gordon on the backside. They might just be in trouble. The jump is forced out from Cheeto. They might be able to re-engage. A good dash from Brex to get away, but that just enables Gordon to get in, but he's pushed away by the Dueling Dragons, and that's going to be his downfall. Huge backline peel between the two from the Weiner Brigade, and they actually managed to pick up the jungler of the Weiner Brigade, Lagosaurus Rex, because he wanted Ket Monster so bad.
And let it be known that during that fight, Alyssa got her purple buff and then said, I can kill a Primal Fury, and then almost got soloed by the Primal Fury.
Yeah.
And now, no intention to rotate, it would seem. It's going to be Taka and Hunter on the Shiva contesting this, but they just don't have a penetration option here as Weiner Brigade get this first Fire Giant.
Oh no, tell me where you've seen this one before. Discoteca Cage onto Hunter. He has been level 12, level 13, I think for about the last 7 minutes. This poor guy has been caught fighting endlessly and just has not gotten any farm because Alyssa has just sat over there and left and just done what Freya does best, and that's auto attack the tower with her tennis racket, because everyone knows tennis rackets do good damage to towers. Is just well known. It's science.
Right, of course.
And yeah, level 20 Freya. Let's see what it can do.
Yeah, and I think you put that quite well, because level 20 Freya will have to start doing something here as X-Ball tries to catch the dash. That would have spelled the end for said level 20 Freya, but she will get out. With the farm that she has dedicated herself to picking up and the amount of time that she has spent not team fighting, she
Mhm.
needs to show up big in these fights to make up for it, because she's almost at that point where she has all of the items she needs. I mean, she realistically could be fighting right now, maybe looking for one more core damage item to get
Oh no.
online before all of the damage is really there, but I don't think they're gonna let her get that option as she goes up into Valkyrie's Discretion, Lord of the Afterlife on top. That's a good crack in the
Huge
field for her.
Aegis.
1 HP on this Freya, 1 HP also on Lagosaurus Rex with the Kepriel, but it's actually Taka that appears to be in trouble.
Yeah, he's in trouble because Big Joe is still here, and he's put him in a cage, and they're looking to re-engage, and Taka beads forced. I think he was clipped by just the edge of the Yu Wang tooth, rooting him out, and he felt like his life was in trouble. We've got Gordon on the backside, but I don't think his team particularly want to get in here, or maybe they do. Pull on to Albie. He's dropping below half. He's going to abduct in Gordon, drop him very low. No ultimate up, as well, speaking of, in goes Cat Monster maybe with the Horror Cell also going through the sky. He's going to land down, doesn't hit anyone. Back onto the back line of Weiner Brigade. Aegis forced out. He picks up Albie, but that's going to cost him his own life as Big Joe is zoning 3 now. Cage surely up soon as the health bars are down before it can even begin. Deicide for Weiner Brigade. This has to be game number 1. I pray they get this one.
Yeah, but Alyssa is up and does have all
Level
that
20
farm
Freya.
that she spent all this time going for. Level 20 Freya indeed will
Level
take
20 Freya.
half of her HP, all of her HP. Those dueling dragons come through in the cage, in the discoteca. Another deicide for the Weiner Brigade, and they want this Titan.
Yeah, no trying to get those kills in Fountain. They're going straight for this win, but it's going to be difficult. They still have 2 T2 towers up. And, well, no, I don't think Shiva's going to even respawn in time. They do clean up game number 1. Huge win for Weiner Brigaders. Look at these numbers on Big Joe. 7-0-11. Big Joe's big.
Big Joe is big, and he definitely is the victor of this name rating matchup here between Big Joe with 4 E's and Ket Monster. We had our question marks going in. Where is this ire going to fall? Who is going to carry the onus for this game? And I think that Big Joe definitely shouldered that responsibility, although notably, official Cheeto, he didn't want to use any of his options in the mid lane when he was backing, but he damn sure found out where to use them during these team fights, dropping 28,000 damage on this Yu Wang, who, known for putting out these damage numbers and being difficult to get to, being difficult to put down, definitely making a good showing of that with both the stat line and the damage charts.
Yeah, he looked very comfortable on the Yu Wang. So comfortable that I would wager he would be in a store in the middle of a lane shopping with 2 enemies in front of him while backing. That's how comfortable. But only died 2 times notably, and that was one of them. He looked, as you said, very, very strong on this Yu Wang pick. As, well, Freya did not. From a first pick, level 20 Freya, coming into a team fight twice, got instantly crowd controlled. I mean, it was Solar Flare with Odin jumping on top, putting her in a cage, and then the discoteca wasn't too pleasant, and she just immediately got shut down. We did not see enough value from this first pick.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's fair to say that she didn't find her value in the team fight phase, because she didn't really get to team fight. I mean, the one fight that she rotated over to kind of fizzled out around that fire giant pit after that extended engagement where, I mean, everybody just inted so hard that there was no fight. Everyone was just too low to actually take the remainder of the fight. So the only times that she really saw enemies after hitting level 20 was when she got caught in left lane at the purple buff, and then again at the end of the game when she got Odin Cage. And it's like, what do you expect your Frey to do in those situations? You don't really have the tools to fight back from that kind of disadvantage. It was really just the Benadryl Babylonians not facilitating a proper team fight around these ultimates that they had. I mean, they had some coordination with the global ults there at the end from the Ratatosker and the Horus in the left lane, but that fight just ended up spelling the end of the game for them. I mean, they clearly had the idea going in, but the execution a little off the mark, and Weiner Brigade very well played in punishing them for all of their transgressions.
Yeah, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. They never really attempted a true team fight. As you mentioned, Freya saw enemies pretty much for the first time again right there at the end at her purple buff, but she lived for an eternity. She got dropped to half health at the purple buff, ulted away, and then a perfect Aegis immuned out so much damage. If they just had their Ratatoska and Horus there on time, they were split pushing in the right lane, maybe anticipating they were going to just concede the T2 and defend on Phoenix. But the Freya lived for so long, had they been there, even a little bit late, I think they could have cleaned up the back end of that fight and been straight back into the game.
Yeah, but they didn't end up having that
No.
opportunity because Weiner Brigade just on top of things in all of these fights. We're going to throw it to a quick break here and give us a little bit of a breather between these knockout games. See if maybe in the next one this right jungle's under a little bit less contest, but stick around. We will be right back with game number 2.
Bloody hands on my knees, swinging till I'm useless. Won't give a fuck about you leaving your dumb ass toothless. Man, I feel bad for you, your family too. You barely recognizable after I'm done with you. Throwing hands, you didn't stand a chance. You quite a laugh, alright, let's get to dancing. But you ran off, all I did was give you a glance. What a waste of time, what a damn shame, really. Leaving your body in the dirt, yeah. Trying to escape my hate, be glad that I'm human. Or else I would've killed ya in that cold blood. My hate and rage, calmly lighting every candle on the way to your front door. Bloody hands on my knees, twice swing them till I'm useless. Won't give a fuck about you leaving your dumbass toothless. Man, I feel bad for you, but at this point you deserve everything that comes your way. So stay away, unless you want to die today, yeah. I'm the hunter, you're the prey, remember this, okay? Okay, let's bring it up a notch. Watch me dodge and send you a crutch, yeah. Balls got swallowed, see you on that dot. Yo, mama on payroll and you got the balls to start a fight with me. I'll send your dumb ass to the hospital within seconds. Yeah, my hands are my weapons. I won't need anything as I smile on my lips while I send you flying. I'll be lying if I said I was tired, death defiant while I reply to your dumb ass.
Back to the sound. sound.
Wake up again to see the whole world die. The same day, every day, intellectual suicide. Irreversible hate, the greedy state that manipulates. So every thought they give to you is so your love, that's what they take from you. It's so close, scratching at the window and my sanity fled me. It's so close, I can feel it pulling me, yeah. Wake up again to see the whole world die. All the lies, lies, lies that you told. Now the world knows that you're just a monster. It shows your true colors. I see it clearly, you're a liar. All the things you said you would do, all the lies, lies, I see through. Now the world knows your true colors. I see it clearly, you're a liar. I see it clearly, you're a liar. I see it clearly, you're a liar. Lies, lies, lies that you told. Now the world knows that you're just a monster. It shows your true colors. I see it clearly, you're a liar. Things you said you would do, all the lies, lies, I see through. Now the world knows your true colors. I see it clearly, you're a liar. Your true colors. You're a liar. Said you were a friend, never would have known. Fuck with me and learn the hard way. All the lies you've lost your goddamn Look at the mess you made. That's just the price you pay. All the lies, lies, lies that you told. Now the world knows that you're just a monster. It shows your true colors. I see it clearly, you're a liar. All the things you said you would do, all the lies, lies, I see through. Now the world knows your true colors. I see it clearly, you're a liar. I see it clearly, you're a liar. I see it clearly, you're a liar. Look at the mess you made. That's just the price you paid. Look at the mess you made. I see it clearly, you're a liar. Your true colors. You're a liar. We will stand up. We see through you. Fuck the lies you spread. Set down your ties on. We will stand up. We see through you. Fuck the lies you spread. Set down your ties on.
Call me up when you're sober, when you showered and changed. You give it up like it's over, but never give it away. And I don't wanna fall for you this time. I can find the truth in all the lies. If I could, I would believe me. If I could, I would need you. I don't wanna fall for you this time. Call me up when you're sober, when you showered and changed. You give it up like it's over, but never give it away. And I don't wanna fall for you this time. I can find the truth in all the lies. If I could, I would believe me. If I could, I would need you. I don't wanna fall for you this time.
Welcome back, everybody. Unfortunately, Spectator is a phenomenal thing, and we
Great
couldn't
tool.
quite get the live game to you, but we do have the result, and the result is Weiner Brigade 2-0ing Benadryl Babylonians. Now, this doesn't take them off the bottom of the league, but it does stop the Babylonians from getting up into 5th. And it also gets Weiner Brigade not only their first game, but a whole set under
Yeah.
their belt. And
In 2-0
wow.
fashion.
Yeah, and they did it with nothing better than a classic double ADC comp. Cheeto and Brex pumping out huge damage numbers and really punishing Cat Monster, allowing Big Joe to take home title of best name.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the story of this game number 2 is Cat Monster 0-8 on the Cabrec and just didn't really get the value that they were looking for out of him. I mean, this is in theory a good pick to shut down this Chernobog and the X-Ball because you can put the cage around them. Chernobog can hide in the wall, but he loses that dash as soon as that wall is broken. So it is, in theory, a decent pick, but Albi on the Fenrir just made quick work out of abusing this Cabrakan for rushing that Blink first relic. And because of that, without Cabrakan to free cast on them, it was actually Brex and Cheeto that were going to be free casting. So plenty of space created for the side of the Weiner Brigade, and that's going to spell a 2-0 victory for the Weiner Brigade over the Benadryl Babylonians, as you said.
And I think something else worth noting too, Gordon back on the Horus, 6,000 player damage coming out of the solo lane. Only died once, so learned his mistake from the first game where he was just kind of getting free farmed by Lagosaurus Rex. But as a consequence, just didn't get in there and mix things up. You know, he just sat back and played to help, but how do you help when Cat Monster is being devoured by the Ragnarok into some ADCs? Also having to worry about Lagosaurus Rex execute, only finding 3 kills, so it wasn't so much he was dying to that, but it was a matter of him dying to the damage that came from the Ragnarok. You can't sit under all of that auto attack damage for a prolonged period of time, even if you have the when you have the double ADCs on you. It's too much damage to deal with, and they really got taken down.
Yeah, and it's worth noting as well that a little bit of an interesting one. It's going to be Hunter on the Cucullin for the support for this game. Definitely a draft experiment gone wrong, is I suppose all
Yeah.
you can say for this one. I mean, you have this triple frontline composition with these incredible backline carries of Baba Yaga and Hachiman, but if you are just dying on repeat to this Fenrir ult, it makes it very difficult for you to actually get any momentum under you and establish that front line that you're really looking for. I mean, maybe it's a different story if Ket Monster has the beads up and doesn't get pulled by this Fenrir on cooldown, but Albie knew his number and he was definitely dialing it all that all that second game.
Well, speaking of numbers and having numbers, it does look as though Albie, as you mentioned, will be coming in to answer a couple of questions. But not only that, we're going to have Big Joe. This is big time to get such a name as Big Joe. And, well, here he is. And I've just got to go in and ask, Big Joe, how does it feel to win Best Name of the Day over Cat Monster?
Oh, it's always going to happen, isn't it? It's
Uh,
always going to happen.
I mean, when you've got Big Joe with 4 E's, I mean, Cat Monster doesn't even have 4 E's in his name, just 2. I mean, it's a given at that point.
Exactly. And
And
before
while
we
we're
get
on the
going,
topic, actually, Big Joe, I gotta ask, how did you earn all of those E's at the end of your name? Did you have to, like, was it a trial for each one of them, or was it like in a combo pack that you got at the Mega Mart?
combo pack. It's because I'm such a big boy. 1E just doesn't. It don't feel right. You got to put emphasis into it, like Big Joe, like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Big Joe!
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Before we get going, boys,
Yep.
just got to let Albie have 1 minute of limelight. He's got something he wants to say to everyone.
Oh, okay. Let
There you
us
go,
hear it,
Albie.
Albie.
Get wienered.
Ooh, he said
Whoa.
get wienered.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure there's a recovery from
No
such a
way.
put down as that. I mean, I kind of want to let it simmer for a minute and
Yeah.
just let that one sit there, and they can just kind of musk in it. But Albie, I have to say, I think in game 1 you were 6,000 player damage over a Poseidon, and I think it was the Shiva. Was that all off the back of that enhanced purple buff invade, getting those big pinches on the Capri swinging?
I have to refresh my memory on that game. Did I have that much damage? Really?
You
You had
did.
6.
You
did.
you were like 7th damage on the charts over top of the Poseidon. And I think that Damnati's really on target with this one. I think that it was getting the purple buff for the Capri pinchers swinging. But I mean, I understand if it's just one in a pool of a million for you that you get top
Yeah.
damage as a support. So I can imagine that you wouldn't be
No,
able to
I
remember.
remember
that.
now. Yeah, I had some very lucky timings, I guess, on the purple
Nah.
invades.
No,
And
it's
I'll
not
tell
luck.
you exactly what it is.
Tell us, Big Joe. Big Joe!
Every single time a fight broke out, no matter where it was on the map, Albie was there. Albie was
That's
there
true.
for every
That's fair.
single fight, and that is why he pumped numbies as a Kepri. I
Big
mean, he
numbers.
solo killed the rat.
I didn't build a single damage item.
I think
Yeah,
he
but you don't
pumped
need 'em.
72 numbies, and that's how he earned it in his name.
I like that.
So I got to ask, we're going back to Big Joe. How do the rest of the team, because they're not as big as Big Joe, right? So how do the rest of the team say your name? Only you can kind of get the correct way to say your name down. How do the rest of the team say your name? It's got to be like a matter of respect that you at least attempt, right?
well, they call me King.
Oh, that's fair. That's
That
fair.
makes
Yeah.
I
sense.
told you king in my
They
life.
call me King, so it's all good.
Yeah,
No,
I just
they-
heard Albie agree that he calls him that too. Yeah, I
Uh,
heard that.
I made the exception with these boys because, as you lot know,
They're just boys.
we've been struggling, mate, so hard, and
Mhm.
we've put work in, timeless amount
It
of
shows.
scrims in to get this going, and we're finally starting to roll. And I said to printers last week, you watch us in the end of season final, mate. We're coming to upset and we're coming to win, and that's what we're gonna do.
And I love to hear that. And unfortunately, as we said on the broadcast, this game will not take you guys out of 8th place just yet, but definitely on the up and up. A very dominant performance. And we've also got official Cheeto, the official Cheeto, in the studio
Yeah.
here with us. I got to ask Cheeto, what was the game plan going into that game number 2? Why did you pick the Chernobog in this one?
It's
Cheeto
been
bog.
something that we've been trying as a whole team. I mean, the Cheeto Bog never lets us down.
Yeah, facts.
Cheeto Bog. Okay. So that's something that you've rehearsed enough to earn the nickname on that then.
It was something that back when I was an ADC main, this is going back to season 6, 7 of the game. Like I did nothing but play the god in ADC.
That's fair,
It
but
kind of
when
rolls
you've got,
forward. The god's
I
also
guess you,
extremely predominant right now. Like he's super strong.
I guess
Very
you
well done.
transition to the mid lane because Breck's proven he is the best one trick on the X-Bar, right? You just have to let him play in the ADC role, give him the X-Bar each game, first pick that one, and then you take your strengths elsewhere.
I mean,
Brex,
my team won't let me play Neef, so
Oh, see,
Wow.
that's
You
just
never
a shame
said
because
didn't.
Neath can get a lot of value out of the mid lane. I think that Neath is personally slept on, and I'd love to see that going into next week if you could maybe convince them to shift that draft phase a little bit and let you
I'll
take out
send
the
you the
World
clip,
Reaver.
though. I'll send you the clips.
I want to
Oh,
say as
please
well,
do.
a big shout out to Brex, right?
Mm.
That
Alright.
whole game, Lena is just in his face as a Freya, spam laughing him. He ain't scared. He's taking the fight to her and he's soloing her and he's absolutely diffing her all game. Cheeto
That's
is absolutely diffing the mid lane. Albi is just absolutely everywhere. And then we've got Lag, who's playing as a solo laner in the jungle and he's just diving on everyone. Like it was just a
Right.
completely different team this week and the boys smashed it. Every
Yeah,
lane was a hard diff.
I
that's
think
a
you said
Big
it
Joe
well
big
that
shout
every
out.
role was a hard diff, and
Yeah.
that is, as you said, Felix, coming straight from Big Joe himself. So that is high praise. That is big praise from Big Joe.
I'm just sad you guys didn't get to see game 2, mate, because that was even
Oh,
tastier.
game
Oh
two
man,
was
we're
very
gutted.
close.
We are gutted.
Truly.
It was such. I was just getting Fenrir ults on the Cabrakan off cooldown.
Yeah,
was
we
so fun.
even the
We
scoreboard can tell that story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was extremely rough for Matt in that game. Like,
Yeah.
silly mad. Like,
Well, I mean, Cheeto put so much pressure on the lanes in game 2. Like, there'd be times where I'd get low in solo and he'd ult straight over and get a kill on a solo. He'd ult to duo. He was just ulting absolutely everywhere on cooldown and just putting pressure everywhere on the map, and they just couldn't handle him.
Now this is I got a question for Albie on the Fenrir of that game. When you saw the Cucullin walk into your lane, what was your first thought? Was that something that you expected to see? Is this something you've played against before, or was this an anomaly for you?
Oh no, it was
Colin
Horus.
was
They
the solo
switched,
laner in
lane
that
swap.
game. Yeah, they
They lane
switched.
swapped.
Oh, it was a role
Yeah.
swap. Okay, that explains a
Yeah.
little bit more then. So they actually they egoed you hard enough to just roll swap in the middle of the set, and then putting them down after such a change like that, that's got to feel good.
I don't know. I think maybe it's because the Benadryl was struggling a bit and just tried to see. I know Gordon used to solo, and that's why they might have done it. But then afterwards, yeah, then they swapped back and then they still got owned.
They
They
got
definitely.
Weiner.
Wiener,
They got
shit. I missed my chance again.
Weiner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
the
Gamnati, I think we
Benadryl
got time for
Babylonians.
one more question for you here if you want to ask one more.
You said that like you have a real barn burner just loaded up. Let
I
it rip
do.
if
I
you've
have
got
I
it.
have super
Okay,
auto penciled
let's
into the
let's get
second
it.
window, and I've really got to dedicate some more attention to that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we don't have a final question for the boys. I think we really got a good glimpse into what is going to be Weiner Brigade's final surgence here. They've gotten them, and if you snapshot, we have 100% win rate, right?
That's
If we
true.
look at this
In the
last
set.
24 hours, we
Yep.
have 100% win rate, and you can't knock that. They've built on their strengths. They've looked coordinated. They did objectives. They respected their opponents and adequately put them down and looked very comfortable in game 1. And by the scoreline, I can only presume so for the same with game 2.
Actually, damn naughty, I do have one final question for the boys on the
Okay.
Weiner Brigade. If you don't, because you're an
Fi-
incompetent.
one
host.
final bite.
Right, of course. Weiner Brigade, what is your message to the remainder of the league going into the final stage of this season? What is one thing that you
I
want
have
the
a
rest of the
message.
league to
I have a
know?
message.
Here we go.
I don't get wienered.
Get wienered.
Get Wienered. You heard it here first from Albie72. That's going to do it for us on the desk. Weiner Brigade with the 2-0 win over the Benadryl Babylonians. Look out for these guys to be doing big things going into the closing stages of the league. But keep your attention here on Galeria Smite League. Remember, if you have those Twitch Primes available, you actually can subscribe for free and support Galeria Smite League and support the boys here that you know and love. So make sure you drop those in the chat. And Felix, any final closing thoughts for us before we kick it to the end?
It's Big Joe. Ooh.
It's Big Joe, baby.
Big Joe.
Love it, boys. Keep it going.